Welcome to the FL Solidity podcast. My name is Marisa Maggio, and today is Wednesday, March 22nd of 2023. So it is episode 21 of this podcast, and it is also Women's History Month. So I'm really excited to be with not only a very special guest, but a very special woman who's actually been instrumental to me, not only in this industry, but just from a business vantage standpoint. She's always putting herself out there. She never backs down, and she's been around the block for some time. So welcome, Miss Letticia. Letticia, how are you doing today?
I'm super, Marissa. Thanks for having me on your podcast today.
Absolutely, and thank you for being on with us. So Letticia, just to kind of hit it off, if you don't mind, telling us a little bit about yourself, kind of what got you into, becoming a business owner and kind of, what that looks like for you now.
Yeah. So again, thank you for having me on. I definitely don't take these calls for granted whenever people ask me to get on and share. So I appreciate you taking the time out to have me on your call. At first I wasn't necessarily going into insurance to be a business owner. I was literally just going into insurance to sell insurance. I saw the opportunity here at Family First Life on a ZipRecruiter ad that I think it was like John Wetmore and his team had posted. I responded to it, did an interview, and got hired on to sell insurance. I came in, started selling insurance, started selling at a high level, and then I decided that, why not build as well? And that's how the building part of it, things came along.
Awesome. And I love that. And, it's like when we come into this industry, I always talk about sometimes it's like such a big animal, if you will, that we see on the selling side, the income potential, that sometimes we don't even realize the building side and the long-term longevity of that until we're kind of in it. So I love how you're like, I was just basically coming in to sell some insurance, get it done. And you write at a high clip. And Letticia, you always have, at least since I've known you, right? So that's been for some time. And just so people know, because like about how many families are you helping, like on a yearly basis, give or take?
I would say 300 to 400. Normally it's about 4 though.
Yeah, you're usually hitting that Hall of Fame. So you're you are helping over 400 families pretty much each and every calendar year that you've been in the industry now, which is amazing. And that says a lot about you. So basically what you saw is, hey, I could come in, I could sell some insurance, but also if I could come in, sell some insurance, why can't I have some other people come in and do it with me? Is that kind of where your thought process was at?
Yep, absolutely. Okay. Yeah.
And you're like, and I'm good at it, so I can teach people to do it, right? Because everything's teachable. That's what I've always loved about this business. And, what kind of helped you decide, like, I can build a business? And that might sound like a silly question, but like, was it like your inner belief? Was it people outside or both?
Like I said, I just never had that mindset like business. I'm all about business. Like this is I just never thought that. But what I did think of is like what you said was, I can help people. I can show people what I do and then, show them the opportunity, show them what I can do, and then have them do the same thing. So if that's a business owner, then it is. But like, I still don't think that I have that building cap on. Like I literally have to be around like a lot of more entrepreneurs or a lot more business people to get that business savvy mindset. But I literally, I'm just like, I'm going to sell a ton of insurance and I'm going to help people to do the same thing. And if that's a business owner, then that's what it is.
Hey, and I love that because when you come into this industry, like you and I can probably both agree that if you don't like to help people, just generally speaking, like you might win for a month or 2 months, but long term, you just can't stay in this business, right? It just, you don't win. Right. So I love how you're saying, I wasn't necessarily putting my business cap on and saying, how can I make money off of people? You're saying, how can I make money with people and put them in a better situation? So just like with your clients, you're not going in there just because you want to make a commission. You're going in there and helping your clients because you know that you're going to lead, guide, and direct them to the right, solution, so to say, to their problem. And kind of I hear you kind of saying that same take when you're on the building side is, hey, I'm not necessarily out here saying I want to build and hire, everybody onto the team or recruit everybody onto the team. but we're in a system of duplication. So if they're
Mhm.
needing the opportunity and I'm wanting to bring them in, let's do this thing together, right?
Yep.
And that's the beauty of this
Absolutely.
business, right? It's all duplication.
Yeah.
Um, so I love that, Letticia. And just kind of, being in the industry, like what are some of the adversities, and it could be anything that maybe you have faced kind of throughout being in the insurance industry, and how have you overcame them? Before you answer that, I want to just kind of put this out there is, you probably, just as well as I do, that a lot of people don't last that long in this industry. And
Mhm.
because it's thick skin, you have to have thick skin to be able to stay in this industry. And it's
Absolutely.
not because everybody's mean. It's just because things are going to arise and life's going to happen, and different times that you're solving different problems and coming up with different solutions, so to say. But what are
Mhm.
some of those adversities maybe you faced and maybe you've overcame at this point?
Yeah. I think one of the major adversities that I had to overcome is going from a W-2, because I worked at, I think like I worked at like a call center before, started in insurance. So I've never ran my own business. I've never worked for myself before I came into insurance. And so a lot of people, and this is I think one of the biggest problems a lot of agents face, is that they come from that structure of 9 to 5, go to work, clock in, do what they need to do, to a structure to a very unstructured playing field where you're like, do your thing. We're like, go out there, go sell, do your thing. And a lot of agents struggle with that because all of a sudden now they had all these responsibilities that they didn't have before when they had their 9 to 5 jobs. Like they couldn't call out because they had to go get, change their oil or go to the store or, you know, um, childcare. Like they couldn't have done that when they have like a regular 9 to 5, but all of a sudden now that they're their own boss, they can do all of these things. So the same for me, even though I don't have that many responsibilities, I slacked off because you don't have that structure, you have that flexibility now. You don't have anybody over you. You don't have that push to get up at 8, to be at work, get up at 5 to be at work at 8, like clock in, clock out. You don't have that here. So I struggled with that at the beginning, finding that structure and that balance and that time. And I think it was actually a conversation that I had with Paul McLean at conventions one of the years. And, he was like, when you um, think of this business as you are the employer and the employee, you have to have that mindset. So you have to be an employee where you get up and you're structured, you have a time frame that you have to adhere to. And then you have to be your own boss as well for yourself, to where if you're not, Letticia is not on work at 8, then you fire yourself. So, so you have to do the work and you have to manage yourself. And so I developed that mindset throughout my entire business since that clicked for me. I'm like, I'm going to treat this just as how I treated my W-2 job. I'm going to always be in the office by 8 a.m., sitting on Zoom, dialing, taking my break like a regular person at lunchtime, take my break for a few minutes, then get back, dialing, then leave, then do all the other things that I needed to do outside of those hours, like I would if I had a regular job, right? So when I decided to have that structure, that is where my business became more of a business to me. And that is that one of the main adversities that I had to overcome starting out.
And I think that that's huge, and it's applicable for pretty much, I feel like, anyone and everyone that's coming into this industry. I know for me, it was like a big twist. I came out of college into the industry, and like you said, it was
Mhm.
like, I was before serving tables, bartending, and they telling me when to clock in, when to clock out. what days to be there, what time to be there, what's my side work, what's my role and goal of the day. And like you're saying, if you're not able to basically replace that W-2 hat and act like you're still W-2, you're unemployed or you're self-employed. And I know that there's been times, Letticia, I worked from a stance of I was unemployed, right? Like you said, I was out getting my oil changed on Tuesday when I should have been helping families, or I'm late to the office 3 hours because I woke up late and, felt like, oh, maybe I can fit, a quick workout in before I go to the office. Whereas if it was not a 1099 position, I wouldn't do that. I would have been at work on time, boom, 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 everything done, right? And it would have just lined up beautifully. But that's not what it looks like. And I think the biggest reason that I see new agents or any agent really fail in this industry is because of exactly what you said, the lack of structure or lack of schedule or attendance to it. So I love how you said, when you had that conversation and just being like able to eternalize it and be like, okay, I can apply this to my now business, right? Because before kind of treating it like a hobby, so to say. And there's times now, like for me too, Letticia, that I'm like, this is your business, right? Like I almost have to bring myself back to it, right? It's like, hey, wake up, right? So I love that the essence of the distractions, right? Like we can all pick something new that we could do every single day. But if we had a W-2 job or we're in a W-2 position, we wouldn't be able to do it. So when we're able to treat this like that, it's freaking powerful to say the absolute least, right?
Absolutely.
So I love that. And then overcoming that, really, was it just kind of time and, kind of like watering yourself, so to say, to become and grow into that better version of yourself?
So how I overcame that was that I actually sat down and make a schedule. I didn't have a schedule that I was following. I was just, willy-nilly doing things here and there. So when I actually sat down and made a schedule as to what times I was going to get on the phones and dialing, what days I'm going to be in the field, from what time to what time, and I scheduled that, my entire calendar. I would have an entire calendar for the month where I sat down and mapped out each and every single day and what activity I was doing each and every single day, whether it be business or whether it be personal, but it was scheduled. And when I devised that schedule, that is when I started to have that structure. And that's what helped me to stay, focused.
I love that. And I think that that's huge. Exactly what you just said. When I sat down and made a schedule. So it's like when you took intentional time, right? To say, how am I going to fix this problem? Right. Because you saw, hey, I'm not consistent, or I'm not as consistent as I'd like to be, probably, right? And I'm trying to get there. Okay, let me schedule my personal activities, my work activities, my calls, right? Training calls, whatever it may be that you're hopping on. So that you're literally looking through your schedule and it's like, if on Monday night you can or can't hang out with the girls, right? Like you ain't like, oh, yeah, 5 o'clock, I'll meet you for dinner. Like it's like probably like all my friends know, like don't even text me and ask at this point, like unless it's like a month in advance, because planning that schedule out is definitely key. And then also, I love how you brought up not only are you scheduling business, but you're scheduling personal. I see it sometimes that folks will like only schedule business. It's like, okay, well, if you have, 3 kids at home, well, that might not work out for you, right? Whereas for me, I'm a little bit more flexible in that arena, but at the same time, anything personal does need to be scheduled. Even if it's like, get your eyebrows done, like schedule it, right? And that way it's there and you're doing it, right? Accountability is huge there. And then Letticia, once you were able to start doing that, how much like better did you feel about yourself?
A lot better, because now I was in a zone, a mode. I was, my brain wasn't disheveled and going in this direction and going in that direction. When you have some type of a structure, when you have some type of a schedule, it helped to declutter a lot of things that's going on in your life, because you're now focused on what you need to focus on versus like, oh, what am I going to do today? Oh, what am I going to do? Am I going to get my hair done? Or am I not going to get my hair done? Am I going to dial? Am I not going to dial? Like, like you schedule it out throughout the week. And so that helped me to just focus and not to be distracted by things that don't need to distract me.
Absolutely. And that's huge. So it's like you had that forward mindset of let's just keep pushing it forward. If this is working, it's working. And it seems like it's working out pretty well for you, to say the least, Letticia. And then just to kind of wrap up the call, what would you say is maybe one thing that you feel like has been instrumental for you in this, or just as a business owner or in this industry, to make it that's helped you a lot? What's like something that's been a big resource to you that you're like, if I haven't done that, hadn't heard that, I wouldn't be where I am today?
I think just working on your mindset in general and just personal development and growth is going to help you to personally develop and grow. So if you're not someone that is having some type of routine when it comes on to working or having time to yourself to develop yourself, I would highly, highly, highly recommend doing that. Personal development and time just for set aside just for personal development, whether that be reading books, meditating, exercising, self-care, like whatever it is, just for you to develop you as a person and to grow as an individual, I think is integral in keeping sane, not having things bother you too much, letting things just roll off your back. Because I think if we don't, then the least little things will get us like super sensitive and, we'll probably flip out and, just lose it, But I think if we have time set aside just for that type of development, to develop our mindset, because, the human mind, the first thing that we always gravitate towards is to negativity, right? I think that's just how we are just as humans. But if we develop our mindset and develop that positive mindset, then we can stop gravitating towards all the negative stuff that's around us. And trust me, there's a lot. It's just life. That's just how it is. So if you haven't developed a time to set aside to develop yourself and develop that mindset that you need to endure the business, then I would highly, highly recommend, us girls or just people in general, whoever, to do so.
Get that done. Absolutely. And I love that you shared that that's one of the things that's really kind of helped you and been instrumental in this business, because I know that my answer would have been pretty similar, is like, if I never worked on myself and I only worked on my job, I wouldn't be in business anymore. Because like you said, you can take things really personal, or you can just have them roll off your back. It's going to depend on where's your mindset, where are you at, how are you thinking, how do you view yourself, how do you view other people, how serious you take things that are said to you. And also, like you said, it's important to grow and develop. So if you're not scheduling time to do that, it's like you're not scheduling time to literally help yourself, right? And you can't get to the next level without taking the next step and going to the next level. And like you said, it doesn't need to be like, okay, there's only one right way to personally develop, right? There's so many ways, whether it's books, meditating, audiobooks, YouTube, that you listen to, whatever it might be, exercising, journaling, just do something that's going to make you become a better version of yourself, and it's always said, work harder, on yourself than you do on your job, and your job will reap those rewards. And I really think that essentially that's what your business is seeing too, Letticia, is, hey, you're a strong-minded individual. You got that piece down. You're not confused about it. And once you can keep this strong, you can keep anything strong. That's for sure. So
absolutely.
Love it. And anything you want to wrap up with before we hop off today, Letticia?
Not really. Just keep resilient, keep going when the time gets tough, because tough times do come, but they go, and tough people are what will endure. So just keep it going. Don't give up.
Absolutely, every time. Well, Letticia, I appreciate you so much for being on with us today, taking the time. Like, comment, subscribe, and we'll see you guys next week. Take care.